Okay, this is a video on how to create the elements posters. So at the end of this, you're going to have a total of 9 posters once you do all of these. So we're going to go ahead and start out. This is what your poster is going to look like in the end. So you'll have 9 of them looking somewhat like this. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use this photo. So you can save this if you want to just practice with this one, or you can use your own photos to start with. I did not take this photo, just found it. So I'm going to right click on my picture, save image as. You can save it to wherever you can find it quickly. I just saved it to my desktop. And again, if you want to use your own photos, that's fine. So then I'm going to go to Photopea. We're going to do File, New, and go ahead and I'm just going to name this one Line. And make sure you change the pixels to inches. And then this is going to be 8 by 10 or 10 by 8, whatever you want to do. So 8 by 10 or 10 by 8, and then standard 200 dots per inch. You can change the background color later, so we won't touch that, and then click create. Okay, so we got our canvas. If you remember, if you're on a Mac, you can zoom in with Command plus, zoom out with Command minus, or Control plus, Control minus, depending on if you have a Mac or a PC. All right, so we are going to go ahead and drag our picture in here. So we're going to go File, Open, and Place, or if your picture is at the bottom down here, you can always drag it onto your canvas, or you can drag it from the desktop to your canvas, or you can do File, Open, and Place. So there's several ways that you can do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my photo, place it on my artboard so it looks just like this. And you can see in the layers bar we have that new layer here. Now I don't care how you arrange these posters, as long as you have all the necessary content, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and center this. So I'm going to make sure I'm on my move tool and I can move this around, and then I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So if you remember, you're going to hold down shift on your keyboard so it doesn't distort the size, grab from the corner, and then click and drag to make it bigger. So always hold down shift so that it doesn't mess up your picture. Okay, so I have that placed, and if you notice there's a little red line that appears, that means that's the center. So you can make sure it's centered by checking for that red line. Okay, so another thing that we're going to do, and actually I might move that down just a little bit, we're going to create a frame around this. So if you remember from the example here, there's a black frame around this, so we're going to do that next. So over here in your layers bar, there is this little rectangle at the bottom. Mine's towards the bottom, and then when you hover over it, it says rectangle. So go ahead and click that. So we're on the rectangle tool, and then up here at the top it says fill. This is the color of your rectangle or your frame. So I'm going to go ahead and click this drop down list. You can do whatever you want, whatever color. If you double click on this, you get the color picker. So if you want to be even more specific, there's also gradients and then textures, but I don't really mess with those. I'm just going to do color, but you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to go with a simple black. Oops, I didn't choose it. So I'm just going to do black. And then what you do to create your actual rectangle or frame is you are going to, with this little cross, you're going to click and drag and just do your best to, be even on all sides. You can always fix this later. Okay, so now I have my rectangle, but the issue is my rectangle is on top of my photo, so we can't see the picture. So how we fix that is we click and drag this in the layers bar to be underneath the photo. Now our rectangle is underneath. Now I'm going to switch to the move tool, and I can go ahead and center this with the picture. So I can move this around. I can also change the size of this if I want to. So if I did want this any bigger, I can click and drag from the corners to adjust the size, but it's actually pretty good right now with that red line, meaning it's centered. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And okay, So to make this easier to work with, say you want to adjust the size of your photo. It's going to be a lot of work to adjust the size of the photo and then the frame. So we're going to actually merge these two layers together. So how you do that, go ahead and click on your photo. On your keyboard, hold down Shift and then click your shape. So your rectangle. So, and then you can let go of Shift. So then you can see that both of these are highlighted. Then we're going to right click on your mouse and do merge layers. Now it's just one layer and it's really nice because you can move this as a unit. You can resize this as a unit and it does it together. So now you don't have to do them separately. So I like that. I always I like to merge those together to make it easier. Okay, then I'm going to show you how to do text. So for your posters, you need the name of the element and then you need, just your definition in your own words, or you can reference the slideshow to get the definition. So to add text, go ahead and on your toolbar, there's a little T for text. We're going to click that. And you can just click and start typing, but what I like to do is I like to click and drag to create a bounding box for text, because otherwise your text is just going to go off the page. So this bounding box creates a boundary for the text to be in. So I'm going to go ahead and just type line. So it's super, super small. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. So with your mouse, go ahead and click and highlight, and then you can adjust the size with this little toggle bar. You can also adjust the size later, and I'll show you how. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and center it. So this is like the paragraph settings, I guess you could say, or text settings. So I'm going to go ahead and center that. If you want to change the color of your text, you can. I'm not, but you can do whatever you want. You can also change the font as well. So over here, you can change it to, oh, I didn't change it, but, well, maybe I did. Okay, so get the text how you want it. And then with your move tool, if you switch to your move tool, you can, if I hold down Shift, grab from the corner, I can change the size even more precisely. And then I'm going to center it. Okay, so I've got my main text, and then I'm going to add another text box down here. Again, your text may be on the side. It does not matter as long as you have the content. Okay, so I'm going to start typing a moving point. Actually, I'm going to go ahead before I type any more. I'm going to change the size of this. Okay, so line is a moving point through space, and it is one-dimensional. Okay. And I can change the size of this again, so if I do want it a little bit bigger, I can mess with that. Okay. I've got my text box there. So then I can also, again, change the size this way as well. Now if you want to change the background of your whole canvas, if you go into your layers bar over here, you can click background, make sure you're actually on this background layer, and then over here in your toolbar, I don't know if you remember this, if you click and drag onto paint bucket, so it looks like this little gradient rectangle. If you click and drag and choose paint bucket, you can change the size or the color of your background. Actually, I can't do black because my words are black. And then I will just click the background, the canvas, and it'll change the color. Okay, so however you want to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this. So if you are continuing to work on it, the next day you're going to save it as a PSD so you have all the information, but if you are ready to turn it into Classroom, you're going to do export as and then PNG or JPEG. So I don't care which one, and then you'll click save and it will save to your downloads, and then you can upload it to Google Classroom.